Hello, and welcome to the Jock podcast featuring Dr. London Smith. He's got a passion for fitness thermometer in your mouth. Now, introducing the one and only Dr. London Smith.
Hello, and welcome to Jock, where we discuss lifestyle and health and how to incorporate our modern understanding of science and medicine into our daily lives, but without it being so boring. After all, learning doesn't have to be boring, right? I'm your host, drlondonsmith.com, and we've got some exciting stuff planned for our first episode. We're joined by DJ Dylan in the house. Also with me is our producer, Cameron, who I asked to help me make things run smoothly today.
Hey guys.
I may have some knowledge of science and medicine, but he really knows podcasts, so don't be surprised if he chimes in once in a while to, help keep us on track.
Have you heard of Joe Rogan?
Yeah.
I have. I haven't listened to it, but I know it. Go ahead.
Thanks, Cameron. So thank you, Cameron, once again. He also, he's letting us use his equipment, so it's, very, very helpful. We are indebted to him on this. So one of the fun parts of working in medicine is that you run into all sorts of people of all kinds. So before we get into the nitty-gritty, I want to talk to you about a delightful patient we recently had in the ER. So the patient was brought in by an ambulance, and the EMT said he was found face down in the grass.
Ooh.
With what looked like crack cocaine balls in his mouth.
Eek.
And they referred to that as chalk, which I guess that's the street name for it.
This is not the kind of chalk you're drawing on the ground with, is it, Dr. London?
No. So he had that. He also had pubic hair on his hands.
Ooh. This isn't the kind of pubic hair that you're drawing on the ground with, is it, Dr. London?
No. So we asked him his name when he got to the ER, and he tried to talk with his mouth closed, like. And when a nurse reminded him that he could talk with his mouth open, he opened wide to talk, like at a dentist, like, still not intelligible. So then he walked outside the room and he asked for the bathroom. But instead of going towards the restroom, he actually went towards the automatic doors to the ambulance, which the ambulance was actually running. So he ran out there and tried to steal an ambulance, but he was stopped short, and he would later go on to, I believe the term is, to fist himself in the hospital, which solves that mystery of how he got that pubic hair on his hands.
Could you, just as a doctor, describe what that is? I'm a little lost.
Yeah. Sorry. Which part is?
Ambulance.
Yeah. No. An ambulance is. So you're sometimes. Let's say you're in your home.
Okay.
Something happens that, like, say you cut your hand while you're cooking or something.
Well, I don't have any utensils.
Okay. Say you cut your hand somehow. Let's say you somehow get a deep cut.
Oh, the spring in my mattress. Okay.
Yes.
It's sticking out.
Yeah. So, let's say you roll onto that, and it cuts in deep enough that you're a little bit worried.
Uh-huh.
So, you pick up your phone, and you call 911. That's the responsible thing to do if you're ever think that you're in some sort of medical emergency. So, you call 911, and the 911 operator will ask you a few questions, and generally you can call an ambulance. And so an ambulance in that situation, and I guess in all situations, is a car that's specially modified, sometimes sort of a van sort of type of car, and they will drive to your house, and they'll pick you up and actually take you to a medical facility for treatment of, say, a spring in your mattress that is loose. Does that make sense?
It's just like my mom and dad's car.
Do they drive an ambulance?
I don't know. I don't know. This is the first time I'm hearing about it, but it sounds just like my mom and dad's car. It just takes you to the hospital.
Right. So, yeah. So it's kind of like that, in the sense that it is a car that drives. Just in addition to whatever features your mom and dad's car has, this one would have medical supplies and potentially life-saving treatment options on the way. So,
great.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for chiming in, Cameron.
That does actually remind me of our first sponsor I want to bring up. It's Moober.
It's medical Uber. Do not call an ambulance when you are in danger. Call Moober. Open up the app. It'll take you 30 to 35 minutes to get someone to swing by. They will have a bottle of water for you. All the things you're typically going to find in an Uber, but it's a medical Uber. Back to you.
Okay, and
do not call an ambulance. Go back.
Right.
Moober.
Right. Thank you, Cameron. So actually, I do want to clarify on that last sponsor. And we do love our sponsors here, but we actually do want to use, you're going to want to call 911 in an emergency rather than calling any other service, just because the ones who can provide the critical care you may need in a situation, and you can also coordinate quickly with the hospital, say let the doctors know that they're on the way. That's all pretty critical depending on the situation. So we do appreciate our sponsors, but I would actually highly recommend that you use 911 emergency to whenever you have an emergency.
Now, Dr. London, those 3 numbers are a little difficult for me to remember. Is there an easy way to remember the numbers 911?
Okay, so you can we have one of the things we learned in medical school is about mnemonics. Do you know what a mnemonic is?
When you get really cold and you inhale a lot of water, yeah.
Well, it is kind of like that. Different. So a mnemonic is actually when you use different word play to help you remember something, like an acrostic, which is where you have a word and then each letter in the word stands for another word that conveys a bigger idea. And so
in the way that the word acrostic makes me think of a cross and a stick.
Okay, that's similar. Okay, yeah. So you're in the neighborhood. Okay, so good. So the next part, what I was explaining with 911, you might remember it with some word association like.
Well, maybe this is just me thinking, but maybe with the number 11, 11, you can think of 2 tall towers.
Okay. Yeah, no, you could think that. Okay.
Just 2 tall towers.
And then like the 9 would be like a balloon looking thing then.
Sure.
So it'd be like balloon
crashing
well,
into.
Balloons don't really crash though, do they?
This is your analogy.
Okay. Anyway, I think we're getting a little bit off topic.
Oh,
there.
yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. Just try to write down those numbers, 911, next to your phone. That may be an easier way to remember. Or you can, in your cell phone, you can actually pre-program emergency numbers.
Oh, wow.
Maybe you could program it so that the number 1 is already the emergency number. You just call that number.
But the number 1 comes after the 9.
Yeah, but in this case, you would actually pre-program it so that the numbers, you would have a group of numbers that would correlate to anyway. 9, so calling
7.
Anyway, so let's move on to another topic.
3,
actually, the main topic for today.
9
this
minus
is
8. 9 plus 2 is 11. So
and we have
add 2.
guests as well. Okay, so our next topic is today we're going to talk about rhabdomyolysis.
Ooh.
Yeah, that sounds
spicy. Now, what is that?
It's a syndrome. It's caused by injury to skeletal muscle, and that's your like lifting weights kind of muscle, that kind of thing. When enough injury is done to muscle,
you get big and strong. That's what working out is. You do injury to your muscles, they break, they tear, and you get big and strong like Popeye.
Okay. Well, very good answer.
Thank you.
Very good answer. But
don't tell me I have a good answer and then say but.
Well, in this situation we're talking about,
okay,
we would actually be talking about more damage.
More strong. You're talking about a giant strong man. This is insane. This is the kind of medicine that I want to learn about. Go ahead.
Okay, so
giant strong.
Is that what listeners would actually want to hear about? Like,
yeah, listeners want to hear about.
Because I was going to talk about like the medical effects.
John Bunyan types. If you could incorporate John Bunyan into your findings.
Okay.
He's got the blue ox. He's a big guy.
I'd have to prepare. Do we have a guest or anything?
Yeah, I think we actually do. Well, so the first guest that we had has unfortunately passed away. I just got a message. But we do have a backup guest right now.
You have a backup?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, no, thank you for prioritizing this show to such... I was warned about you, but this sounds good. All right, so who's the guest?
I don't know.
Okay.
Let's hear from them.
All right. Hello, welcome to Jock Talk.
Hi, thank you so much.
Hi, okay. Good to meet you. What was your name?
My name is Sage Daniels, and I am actually here to promote something that has really been spiritually birthing inside of me for a long time, and I'm just ready to release it here today.
Okay.
Wow.
I'm sorry, I should have introduced myself officially. I'm drlondonsmith.com, and this is Jock Talk. So welcome. And,
welcome to Jock Talk,
Miss
Sage.
Yes, it's so wonderful to meet a fellow healer.
Yeah, that is one of the things that doctors are known for. I guess the biggest thing we're known for.
Well, they're known for a lot of other things as well. But I don't want to talk about the negative things today. What I want to talk to you about and your listening audience is a new business opportunity for all women, and I guess men as well if they would like to. But I mostly am wanting to speak to the women right now because you really have such a masculine energy about your show that I feel like you're really kind of pushing the women to the back burner and pushing us to the side. And I just wanted to bring that up because I think it's wrong.
Yeah, I agree. We should bring a feminine angle to this.
Oh, yeah, no question. I guess I don't think we've been anti... any particular...
I'm just tired of hearing about the sex. I'm tired of hearing about the boobs and the breast and the large lips and the liposuction and the Botox.
Yeah, what about the butthole? Dr. London, could you answer that?
Well, for one thing, it's I'm not sure exactly what you're referencing because as far as I can recall, in our first episode, I don't think any of us has mentioned boobs.
Oh, sexy girlfriend!
Thank you, DJ Dylan. London, you did talk about all these things before we started recording, though. In the parking lot, when we were getting out of the car, you said boobs, butt, sex, tits, little titties. You said these things. Could you expand on that a little bit?
Well,
It's degrading.
and I don't...
Why did you tell me that in the parking lot?
You specifically said, read this list. And
It's the list of stuff I want to do by the end of the summer. It's my to-do list.
And you said, read it out loud. And I guess I assumed... I told you I didn't even feel comfortable reading it. But were insistent.
I made you read it, yeah.
And I didn't... I did it because, of course, you're being so obliging and kind to share your space and your recording equipment. And so I did read the list out loud. I didn't realize that you would later quote me in such a way as to... and how did the... Miss Sage... Well, okay, I feel like we are getting a little bit off the topic.
I don't mean to. Sage,
Yes, I'm
let's
here.
hear from you. Sage.
To discuss a wonderful business opportunity. We're a
I'd love to hear
woman-led
this.
business. We are all about healing naturally and healing the way that we should be healing, not shoving pills down throats, not filling our children to the brim with poison in the form of vaccines.
To the brim.
All of these things that I'm seeing, they have really been weighing heavily on me, and I thought to myself, Sage, it's time to get to spiritual birthing something. It's so hard to talk about because it's so powerful that I have found something that can heal whatever it is, whatever you have. I just want to start by saying it has healed me of so much. Not just physically, not just emotionally, but spiritually. And so I want to come and talk with you guys today about spiritual oils.
Yeah, not to interrupt you, but it sounds like you should be the doctor. London, of course, Dr. London taught us how to be big and strong with your Rimzo.
Rhabdomyolysis. That's right.
So we learned how to be big and strong, but it sounds like you can teach us to be big and strong and also everything else.
Yes, that it's nice to go to a doctor, say, if you... Well, I can't really even think of a reason why you would need to go to the doctor, truthfully.
They're quack losers.
They're salesmen.
Well, I feel
okay,
like
you can't fault them
salesmen,
for being salesmen. You know, they make their big
Well, if I
bucks
could-
from big
if I could
pharma that fills our
interject for
children
just
with
a-
poison.
Let
There's-
me interject for just a moment.
There's nothing I've ever needed from a doctor that I couldn't get from a genius at the Apple store. You know what I mean?
Well, what?
Laptops,
Okay,
Bluetooth speakers. Anything that I've ever needed from a doctor, I can get from the Apple geniuses at the Apple store.
A few things to tackle here. One, I don't think that we are ever that doctors are generally known for being salesmen of laptops. Well, of electronic items, particularly or even specifically
CAT
Apple.
scan machines, MRI machines.
Right, and so those are imaging studies that are done in order to help with a diagnosis, in order to
And
isolate.
to plant
Cause-
small robots in our brains.
Sorry,
know.
Dr. London, could you speak English a little bit? You're throwing around all these jargons about just images and stethoscopes. You've kept using that word. If you could just...
Okay, well, I also haven't used the word stethoscope today.
Oh, okay.
Which, for those who don't know, any listeners, a stethoscope is a device a doctor
That
wears around
plants
his neck.
chips
Yeah.
in your heart.
Wow, I did not know that. A stethoscope plants chips into your heart?
So they can track you. So they
Well-
can know where you are, like cattle.
Sage, how can I prevent getting these chips implanted in me?
I'm so glad you asked. There is a spiritual oil for that.
Wow.
Okay, actually, do we...
And it's
would you mi-
actually called sage oil.
Would you mind if we just went to a
It's
sponsor
so
instead?
import-
Because this is... I mean...
Oh, yeah, let's go to one of our sponsors. Today we are sponsored by Sage Oil. Let's go back to Sage.
Thank you.
That's
So,
not
I
really-
have a variety of oils that I brought today, one of which is a miracle for new parents. I just had my 6th child
Oh.
2 days ago.
Wow, okay.
This has really saved my life, this
It's really
oil.
saged your life, huh?
Exactly. All right, so,
Way better than a doctor.
well, a doctor couldn't do what this oil can do. Let me just tell you that.
That's what it sounds like.
Well, I get...
This has really saved my relationship with my new child. It saved my relationship with my husband. This oil, I'm telling you, if you are a new mom, you have to get this oil. So here we have it. It is grapes that have fermented, which that just means that they have been left out for a while.
Yeah. Old grapes. Raisins.
Yes, and then we take the oil, and just whenever your child is crying or whenever it's awake and you don't want it to be, you just give it a spoonful of this oil,
Well,
and they will just go right to sleep. They might laugh a
Well,
little
okay,
bit.
I would
and-
want
Wow,
to
it
interject
sounds
here
like-
for a second if I could
Hey.
just stop it. So, you fermented grapes, which for the listeners who don't know, I know she gave an explanation, but actually that's how you make wine. Is the fermentation
Raisins.
process? It's
You said wine. It's raisins. Old grapes are raisins.
right. Well, I don't know what she was actually using, but the word she used describes making something alcoholic essentially. And so,
Well,
if she's-
Sage, are you an alcoholic?
No, this
She's
is
not an
raisin
alcoholic.
oil.
No
This
one's
is
an alcoholic
raisin
here except
oil.
for. It sounds like Dr. London's,
well,
throwing something
Tossing
back.
him
the thing
back.
A lot
I'm
of some of the
saying
stuff he's
is
saying.
because if you're giving an alcoholic something to your child,
No, it's not alcoholic. It's an oil.
She's not an alcoholic. We just established that.
how much are you giving to your 2-day-old child?
Couple tablespoons.
And this is
Just
wine.
This is Sage's
A 4-ounce
baby
bottle's
oil.
worth of raisin oil at night will do
To a very small-
wonders. Wonders.
And you
Sleeps
have you
through the night
asked your
already.
doctor about it? What kind of have you asked any medical professional about? I guess this
Yes.
is you asking, or
No, my midwife, after I gave birth in the woods, it was just her and I.
I'm sorry, in the woods.
Yes, I wanted my child's first moments to be out in the field with the birds and the babbling brook. I didn't want it to be in some place sterile and robotic and disgusting.
Is Brooke someone you know? Babbling Brook?
That's the name of my midwife.
Yeah.
So Babbling Brooks. Do you have two?
No,
Okay.
I don't know why you would think that.
He's not. I mean, I think we've learned today that,
Elevator doesn't go all the way to the top.
Dr. London, you are an expert on a lot of things, but you seem focused on this getting strong thing, building up your muscles, tearing your muscles and building them up. She's talking about childbirth, which doesn't sound like you know a whole lot about. So maybe we should hear her out.
Sure, of course. And I'm sorry.
I know it's not about muscles. It's not about getting strong, big and strong, like a big strong man. I know it's not that.
Right.
This is something different.
And sure.
Sage, do you have any oils to make your baby big and strong?
Spiritually, yes.
Wow.
And that is what is most important.
When you say spiritually, do you mean you have oils that are spiritual? What do you mean whenever you say you spiritually have oils? Are you just describing your wine?
It's not wine.
Okay, your fermented grape.
I mean, I'm hearing some wine through these headphones right now coming from Dr. London. I'm just saying, Doctor, that's not trying to be rude, but
Okay.
that's the only wine I see here. W-H-I-N-E, not W-I-N-E. We're talking about old raisins. Old raisin juice is really what it is.
Okay, so thank you, Cameron, and we are I do want to emphasize, we are thankful for our guests, and, we wouldn't want to have dead air or anything, so very appreciative to have you here. So what benefits have you seen from these oils?
Well, oddly enough, I have been taking some acai berry oil every day
Okay.
for about 4 years, and my hair has turned completely purple.
Wow.
Have you used any different dyes in your hair at all during that time?
No,
changing
it's
shampoo?
the power of the oils.
Okay.
I drink about 60 ounces a day.
Now, is that, if I want to become big and strong, is that the amount of sage oil I need to be drinking?
You would probably want about double or triple that.
Okay.
And so I do actually sell them by the case. They are about $500 for 3 bottles, but that's going to last you 3 days.
Wow.
So imagine making an investment in your future like this. Now, the way that we can work it out, if you're really serious about this, I am willing to sign you up under me as a salesman yourself.
Wait, so you're saying...
Prepare to be
You're saying
astonished.
that I'd be able to get in on what you're selling?
You would be able to support
Okay, this actually sounds like
yourself.
Like a really good deal.
And
Well, it sounds
Do I get a
yes.
discount?
it sounds
Yes. You would get a discount, and you could sign
Okay, yeah,
people
keep
up
explaining.
under you.
Okay, 'cause
And
that
then
sounds
you
like
wouldn't have to be selling any longer.
sounds like a multi-level,
You could just be
like a pyramid.
an
London-
upstream.
I know you as a doctor, you're a rich guy. But us, everyone else, we're not rich guys. We can't afford $500 every 3 days. So it makes sense to sign up with what she's saying.
And you get the
I
starter
know
pack
you
when
can
you
afford
sign up.
that.
And that is a $1,500 investment, and you get 5 bottles.
Wow.
So
So that's a major savings.
Yeah, that's $1,000 you just saved.
And so this is based on you sell to Cameron, and then Cameron would find other people to sell under. And are you under someone else, or are you at the top of this?
I am actually second in command.
Okay.
The owner,
Mm-hmm.
the top, is actually my late husband.
Oh, so you are currently then at the top?
No.
Sorry, whenever you say late husband, he has passed away? Is that correct? Okay.
Yes.
So when you say that you're second at the top, you mean that you are currently at the top since he is no longer with us? I'm sorry.
Oh, no, he's still very much with us. He has just moved on to the next phase in life, and that is death. But he is still very much a part of the decision making and the nitty gritty of spiritual oils. That's the spiritual part of it.
Okay, this isn't where I really...
He is a spiritual part of it, running it from that side. So that when I get there, there's already an established business. So we're running from both sides here.
So he's going to be selling this product in the afterlife. That's the idea behind this business model currently in your mind?
I mean, it sounds like me that the product sells itself. I mean, no.
It really does. It really does. Once you know the power of spiritual oils, you will never feel the need to go to a doctor ever again.
Wow.
And we all know that all they are is just a bunch of crooks.
Sounds
They're
like
just
they're
trying
snakes.
to peddle their pills on you. They're trying to fill your children to the brim with poison. And I will not stand for it anymore. Me and my late husband, we will not stand for it anymore.
Right. Well,
We actually
Now that-
have some of Sage's oil right here if you wanted to try some.
does it? Are you gonna? I guess so. It's sponsored. Okay. So then we can have some just
Yeah,
a taste.
could you,
to try it? Okay.
Sage, tell us what we're about to drink.
Yeah. Okay.
So this is actually the very best oil for opening your uterus.
Okay.
Okay. I'm not sure how. As you
So
mentioned
this is
earlier.
wonderful for right before childbirth. You just take a bunch of this and it will completely
Oh, well,
open your uterus all the way.
Is
and
there
the
a way to
baby
tell-
will just fall out.
Is there a way to tell if mine is closed right now?
Feel on your belly button. Push your belly button.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Actually,
I feel it.
for any listeners,
It's closed as shit.
for anyone currently listening, on the human male anatomy, there's actually no uterus to be found.
So did you enjoy the taste of the oil?
I will also give it a try here.
It hurt. It hurts.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Well, in
hurts.
men, it opens the
burns
bowels
a
all the
lot.
way.
It burns
all
a
the way.
lot.
The bowels are going to be completely
Like I can't.
open.
I can't.
Oh, yeah. I can feel my uterus opening up right now.
I'm actually gonna. Well, thank you.
It feels good. Now, what am I seeing right now? After I just drank this, I'm seeing things. What is this I'm seeing? Two tall figures.
I'm also seeing a lot. Is this? Oh, okay. I shouldn't have. Yeah. So I am also seeing the two tall figures. And there's a. Is this 9?
Is this 911? Wow.
You might be seeing Amy and Sarah.
Okay. No, it's. Anyway, thank you for being on the show.
Are Amy and Sarah two tall, shadowy figures in the corner right there?
Yes.
Wow. This is amazing. Thank you. Sage. I didn't even realize my uterus was so closed until right now, but I can feel it. I feel like a different man.
That's the power. And so, yeah, give me a email
Yeah, let me...
to get started. It'll just charge you $2,500 for the startup fee. And like I said, you will get those 5 bottles.
Yeah, the $2,500 plus the $1,500 for the 5.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The starter fee.
Yes.
Well, thank you. Do you have Are we the first customers, or has this been? Do you have a solid base so far? How large is your business at this point?
I have customers worldwide. So I have one lady in India
Okay.
who has purchased a bottle of spiritual oils.
Okay. So when you say you have customers worldwide, you have one customer
Around the world.
Okay. Well, in any case, we actually have. We're going to get back to this topic, and since you're a guest, we can go ahead and get back into what we were originally talking about, which is rhabdomyolysis. Rhabdomyolysis is actually when you, as Karen was talking about, you can tear down muscle while you're working out, and then later on it would rebuild itself. But in rhabdomyolysis, this is more of an extreme version of that, where let's say you have a crushing injury, you have something else.
Oh, you could use an oak oil for that. That would puff your bones and everything right back. It would snap back immediately. You
Well-
just rub some oak oil on it.
Well,
Did you try that?
I have not actually experienced this sort of a trauma that would cause rhabdomyolysis myself. This is actually just a clinical syndrome that you can find often in the emergency room. And if any listeners who do find themselves in a situation where you have a crushing injury or something that breaks down muscle like that, you should actually call 911
You would need to go
instead
to my
of...
Facebook page, Spiritual Oils, and there you would find the oak oil. It comes in a 12 ounce or a 24 ounce. That bottle is actually on sale this week only for $380.
Wow. As a seller, what do I get that at?
You get that at $350.
Wow. It's a $30 saving.
It's a big savings. It's really worth it.
So one of the warning signs you'll look out for whenever you have this rhabdomyolysis, let's say you have that.
Big bones, big strong muscles.
You get, okay. Let's say that you have something big fall on you, like I don't know, like maybe
You'd just be able to lift that right off to you. Right?
Well,
Big and heavy, you can just throw that away.
Well, in this scenario, it may be too big for you to lift, and that'd be the whole issue, right? So like, let's say
Not if you have rhabdomyolysis, right? Because your muscles got real big.
sorry, rhabdomyolysis is the term. Rhabdomyolysis. Okay, and so if something big fell on you, like, let's say, especially, I don't know, like elderly patients, like even it could possibly happen also if you're
saying an elderly patient fell on top of you. I think you'd be able to lift it off if you had rhabdomyolysis.
If you had a crushing it, something fell on them, then one of their symptoms would be red colored urine. Right, that can happen.
Okay. Normal.
No, that just happens when you take
everything.
the sage oils with the beetroot.
This is. Which, by the way, now that I'm feeling this sage oil,
yeah, I'm not gonna touch that.
This is hitting the spot.
So,
God, my uterus.
It can also happen in prolonged immobilization. So if you are bedridden for months, it can happen then. Generally, the pigmented urine, that's going to be one of the things you look out for. You can also have some muscle tenderness. Of course, as we said, the signs of multiple trauma or crush injury. If you're, say, beaten up, or I don't know, something big falls on you.
What if you're bedridden and it's 4 of you in a bed sleeping foot to head? Your grandson comes in, he's got a ticket.
What?
Because they didn't have this. They didn't have big muscles. If that's what you're saying.
Yeah, well, I'm saying if you don't have the big muscles and you have prolonged immobilization, then you can have this rhabdomyolysis, and it would cause the breakdown of muscles.
But Charlie's grandfather got up and he danced and sang the second he got out of the bed. How can that happen with what you're saying?
All right, well, and I'm listening. I hear you, but what I'm saying is that possibly he normally would get up and walk, and maybe they were in bed at that moment in that scene whenever they filmed it, but normally he might be walking around at other times of day. What we're describing...
Speak English to me, Doc. I can't make heads or tails of what you're saying.
This is what they do. They confuse you with their medical
it's
jargon.
Information, just...
Right, no, I'm sorry.
Simple, true terms like sage and Daniels and spiritual and oils and raisins. They don't use these terms that we use every day. They just want to say all these glibbity gloopity glop.
I mean, it sounds like if I came to Dr. London with a golden ticket, he would say, just let me keep it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, well, and I appreciate your criticism because it can help me to
explain. And then he tried to fill you with pills. That's what he does.
It can help me explain.
Be like, oh, thanks for the golden ticket. That buys you 1,000,000 pills that will poison you.
Leave you dead on the street.
Ugh.
Okay, and once again, I do appreciate your feedback. That will help me. Hopefully I can explain this a little bit better.
And just, I want to go back to our first sponsor. If you are lying dead on the street, do not call 911. Call Moober. It'll get you there 35, 45 minutes. If you want them to bring you a snack, you can mention that when you call them. Go ahead. Moober. Do not call 911.
Okay, and once again, I would like to emphasize 2 points here. We are very thankful for our sponsors. That's point number 1. Point number 2, I would say, despite what that sponsor said, I would say actually go ahead and call 911 if you find yourself in an emergency like what we're describing here. The longer you wait and don't seek medical help, medical attention, you could run into... Thank you, DJ Dylan. You could run into issues with worsening symptoms. So
yeah, if you're out of sage's oil. If you have sage's oil, this shouldn't be an issue.
Well, and I don't know. Yeah, actually, let's ask. Has this any FDA approval for this sage oil, or any medical any data analysis done on this oil?
No, they wouldn't do it because they knew that if they allowed me to move forward with this life-changing mission, that they would lose a lot of money. because no one would be going to the hospitals, no one would be buying any other medicine, and they just didn't want to see a woman thrive.
Wow, I
That's
didn't
the
know
problem
any
with
of
this country, is that they don't want to see women thrive. That's why I'm on the show today, is to say that I will be running for office in 2020.
And have you picked an office yet, or just...
A corner one with a view.
Wow, that's the one you're running for? Well, you have my vote. Dr. London,
Yes?
we have a few fan emails for you.
Oh, great.
If we want to get to these, just a couple of questions from the fans, if you are interested.
Yeah, I'm a little bit
and
surprised. We just started.
Sending some mail to Dr. London.
Okay.
You can just find him just around. He's usually around. He's usually free at night. You can just find him around, ask him a few questions. Our first question: I am Mr. Yamamoto Aikayu. I have an interesting deal worth $12,100,000 for you. Revert your detail via email yamataku150@gmail.com. Regards, Mr. Yamamoto Aikayu.
Well, first of all, thank you, Mr. Was it Yamakayu?
Sure.
Thank you, Mr. Yamakayu, for your question. Very good question. I'm not exactly sure what your aim was there, but I do appreciate your input on this.
Well, he has an interesting deal worth $12.1 million. Are you interested?
That is a large amount of money.
All
I'm
right,
actually.
I'll go ahead and just reply. I'm interested enthusiastically. Okay.
Well, actually, okay, and wow, you have my email. Okay. Well, actually, thank you for the deal, but I'm actually trying to we're trying to educate is actually what the show's about. It's not so much for the monetary aspect. The sponsors are just there to sort of keep this on the air, because the goal is to educate. You don't go through years of medical school and residency and training just for the money, right? It's a lot of hard work, and there are easier ways to make money. Do appreciate the question. Yeah. Well, actually, why don't we? Do you have any other listener mail?
No.
All right. Well, I think that's all the time we have for today. Thank you, Miss Sage, for being on the show. Thank you, Cameron, for running things. Thank you, DJ Dylan, for running the sound and for all the crazy sound effects. Thank you for listening to the podcast. This is Jock Doc, and if you go to Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, we are Jock Doc Podcast.